Hey guys, welcome back to the Campfire Podcast. It's been a long time. With your hosts, Julian.
Myles.
Chris.
Type shit.
And we're here for another episode. Don't mind the hiatus. We're just not going to mention it, actually.
It
Don't
wasn't
mind
too
my audio
long.
too. I had a Christian day of technology issues. So
That's a
Yeah. The curse has been passed on.
yeah.
passed
Shit
on.
crazy.
What? I'm still having it.
Nah,
but-
don't worry. I'm sure it'll come back for you.
Said it still happens.
Bro, like, where do you think I went? I was gone for like 10 minutes.
I thought you just went to go get another mic because you were just like, I'm not fucking with the audio.
Getting another mic does not mean. Anyways, we're here now. I don't want to.
We were wrong. He is passing it on, but he's still patient zero and it's still going on.
That's true.
But
Hey, we got a better background today, ambient lighting, decorated room, we got vinyls, Beijing things, lights, you feel me? Like, come on. We trying now.
W room.
Thank you. I say Christian got the Spider-Man. Julian got a closet.
All I got it's just white background closet.
I
My room is actually so undone. But to be fair, I'm not a huge decoration person. I'm just gonna.
it's
I just gotta
okay.
grab my stuff.
You're making money this summer, and then with that money, you're gonna be able to pay for rent, decorate your room.
Oh no, we're just buying a computer. We have one singular
Oh,
purchase we can make.
never mind.
It's just a computer.
Fair.
Guys,
No, honestly,
I'm not gonna hold you. I've been waiting to get my editing. Like, okay. Well, you guys know about technical difficulties with the videos. There's a level of editing that I can do that my computer cannot meet. I can't be suffered like this any longer. Like, I just mentally can't edit and know full well that if I try to put something a little cool in the video, it's not gonna work. I just can't.
Mhm.
So we gonna spend the next paycheck on rent. Then the paycheck after that, laptop.
computer type. So as you can tell, life is struggling, life is hard, but we still pushing to make content for y'all. So make sure,
Yes,
for those on
sir.
YouTube, Spotify, whatever, like, comment, subscribe, follow, press the plus button, all the social media
All
stuff.
the things that make us big, just do all of them.
Yeah.
There's no way to donate for us. We're a little bit too small for that. But when the time comes for you to donate, just go ahead and
And when we
drop
get that
a
studio,
dollar. Don't even drop nothing large. Like, don't go crazy. Just drop $1.
exactly.
Make
When
us
we
feel
get that
special.
studio, we'll be back in person. Ooh, ooh, ooh. When the
Mm.
day comes, when the dream. Anyway, but yeah, speaking of working, we all working this summer. Well, I'm still in school, but school and work. So,
We
we
keep
gonna
on
let y'all
forgetting you're
know.
at school. Ugh.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
nasty.
big Drexel.
bro.
It's so nasty. It's so
Mm.
gross.
But yeah, so
Yeah, I'm
we're
like,
just gonna,
damn, I'm really summer working. I have class.
well, class and work, we still got to get this money on. Money, that's a new
Big
word I
worker
learned too.
vibes.
Money, I like it. Big work. So who's going first? Who's gonna explain their career pursuits?
And
Julian, you go
y'all want me to
first.
go first? Okay. All right. So I am a park ranger, or at least that's how I like to very easily explain my job. Basically, I work for this organization. Are we name dropping stuff, or just
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah? Okay.
If you want
So I
to.
work for this organization
Come on.
called SEA. It's the Student Conservation Association. That may not be the acronym. I'm not gonna lie to you. I be forgetting what things. I just know the letters. I don't remember the thingy. So that may not be what it stands for, but it's more or less what we do. They basically get younger people, so between usually like high school and up. They basically have like an entry level thing where like you can you'll work under them and they'll have you work at a national park in your area or otherwise. I mean, you could really work anywhere in the country. Um they operate throughout all the states. So Alaska and Hawaii included, everywhere. Um, and you'll work in a park and you'll just do some form of maintenance for said park. In my case, this summer I'm working with the NACE crew. Don't remember the name of my park, don't ask. And what we're doing right now is we're creating a hiking trail. Well, fixing, maintaining, but mostly making, I guess is the best way to put it.
Got you.
There is a hiking trail, but it's pretty much was completely grown over. I don't have the befores of like the whole trail before we started doing any work on it, but I do have some before and after pictures. I probably will splice them in somewhere in the video, like here. Um, but
Imagine that not making the final edit.
it's gonna make the final edit. I have to. I could have brought it up if I didn't. But basically, before we
Is
started
it
doing
the
work,
police?
it looked basically like a jungle. Like objectively, it was like what you would imagine being in like a rainforest. You're walking through and looking at the animals and stuff. Without the animals, but with a lot of plants. And you're walking through, like you got to duck, you got to move things out your face. You're concerned that something's gonna fly out into your ear. You know that kind of stuff. Not really easy to step on. You can barely tell where you're like you're basically just stepping on uncharted ground. You feel like, but there's supposed to be a hiking trail. Like it's supposed to be an official hiking trail people walk through. So we were tasked with basically getting rid of all the plants slash invasives that are in the way, re-maintaining the grounds that then it's like clear stepping dirt so that then it's not like you're like just veering anywhere and anywhere. um yeah, I guess you could say that's like the major thing. We're also rerouting the hiking trail because there seems to have been some kind of like spill of some form, and so like there's like a big muddy spot that we're trying to like get around. There's also like a cliff, kind of like basically the trail gets like really narrow, and then on the side it like goes into like a river, like well it'll drop into a river. And so we were trying to figure out if maybe we'll like try to extend the ground a little bit just so that it's a little bit wider path, that kind of stuff. Basically that's what we're doing. A lot of different little projects, working a little team of 6. It's cool work, get paid pretty nicely. And yeah, so helping the environment and whatnot, it's a nice time. Also, I also hit a huge milestone in my life. I made I made friends with people from the Caucasus Mountains.
Oh, you made your
Yeah,
first white friends. Valid. Good for you.
yes, yes.
At first, I
For the
thought you
of
said
my
you
life,
make.
I
Okay.
honestly don't know any white people, but now I could say officially I have white friends and they're pretty cool. I think they're vibey.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much me. It's cool work outside
That's good.
all the time, 95 degrees, crying in sweat.
Oh yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Because you got the heat wave hitting you.
Yes, it's so much fun. But if fun was me literally sweating, like dripping in sweat and feeling slightly heat exhausted, peak. Um, and then a small little story. I had to let my manager borrow my gloves, right? While we were working, gotta wear gloves, which is a rule. And so he said, "Oh, he forgot his gloves." So he's like, "Yeah, I'll borrow yours." I'm like, "Cool." I'm doing digging and stuff, clearing out the path, or whatever. And we have these like plants that basically have like thorns on them, right? Now, usually we have gloves, so you grab them. It don't really matter, leather, right? I go touch these because they're in my way, and like the way they're like there is like basically they're just in my way, right? So I cut them down, and so I'm gonna grab them and move them away. Now, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's like big thorns. So when I grab it in this particular spot, there's no thorn there. I'll be fine. I take my hand. Oh, look at that. A thorn in my hand. That's not fun. I tried to pull out the thorn. Great. We pulled out the thorn, but we didn't. We pulled out part of it. The other half, part, whatever, is in my thumb still to this day. And so we just never got it out.
You
Still?
ain't push it
I,
out?
see, we did try to pull it out. See, I couldn't get it out while I was there. And I tried like, do a little pinchy thing. I was like scratching or whatever. No good. I go to my apartment. I'm like, cool. We gonna get it out now. So we get, the necessary sharp objects to, do a little cutting in the area. Nah, it's just deep in there. I'm not gonna hold you. We break the skin, it's not coming out. And I was like, what are we looking at? Because my job, I was doing this for like a good hour and a half, right? Because mind you, it hurts. It hurts like hell. Like what?
That's what I was about to say.
It still hurts?
Well, not the thorn, not the thorn. Stabbing my
Oh,
thumb.
Oh
oh,
yeah.
The
oh.
thorn
I thought you
itself
meant the
didn't really
thorn.
feel like much. Like it a little bit, but for the most part, it was mostly fine. So I was
Okay.
kind of, and I looked it up, and it was basically like, oh, if it doesn't hurt and it's not too deep in your skin, like it'll basically just come out over time. So I was like, well, considering that I currently can't get it out, and the only other option is like really get in my thumb to get it out. I'm like, yeah, I if it doesn't currently hurt, I'm gonna just leave it alone. And then if it starts like really bothering me, I might go to like, urgent care or something. Let them do their thing. But me personally, I think I'm done stabbing my thumb. Right now, it pretty much doesn't feel like anything. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's my new best friend. My little permanent debuff. My little
Oh
my
my
little
god! I
my,
thought you were
my
gonna play
permanent.
video games now.
That's
Oh,
that doesn't feel like anything. It's just there.
fair enough.
So that's that. But that's my little work story. My little work story. But overall, work is cool. It's
Solid.
vibes. Mhm.
Christian, how about you?
Currently, I am a cashier at Shoprite, which is, to people who don't live in New Jersey, is a grocery store. Um,
The Shoprite only exists in New Jersey?
no,
And I
it's in
think it
like
exists other places. I don't think it exists everywhere. Like
it's only on the East
here,
Coast,
there's no
like the
shop right.
Northeast Coast, but not like
Oh,
anywhere else. Which is weird because I don't know, for the
Interesting. I
longest
really
time
would
I
have thought
thought,
ShopRite would be everywhere.
yeah, I thought it was everywhere too. But I guess every like region of the country has its own like grocery store brand, and
Yeah.
Northeast has
Yeah.
ShopRite, so I work at ShopRite. It's
Did you
chill.
ShopRite?
I met like a lot of interesting customers. I've seen like a wide range of older white women, and the different the different types of people there are. And there's
did any of them start flirting with you yet?
no, stop. I did get some customer compliments. Like they're able to submit compliments, and you get like a $5 voucher. So I got two now. But
I'm betting Gertrude is keeping her eye on you, bro. I'm telling you that right now.
It's like, oh, you're just my favorite little guy.
I'm about to say,
Nah,
every time I come here on Fridays,
all right, bro.
I see your handsome young self.
Nah, there's some I met some cool customers. I mean, not everyone is like nice. Some people don't say anything. Other ones are pretty rude, and then some people are just really nice. Usually, right after I get like
You get rude.
what's it called? Right after I get like a mean person or like someone who's not too kind, I get someone who's nice like literally right afterwards. Like without fail, it's been like
Okay.
that. But it's nice.
Don't let them disrespect you. Remember, we're from the hood. Gotta respect yourself. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
it starts you
biggest.
crazy.
That's
You
the
gotta be
biggest
like,
lie you. Bro, what?
oh, wait, don't make me act crazy up in here. I don't care if it's a job. Swing on them. Yeah. Make sure they know who's boss.
Nah, I'm just here to
Sir. Yes, sir.
cashier and then clock out. But I mean, it's nice I get paid weekly.
Mhm.
I'm working some pretty good hours.
Love that.
So, yeah,
Nice.
that is my story.
Cool, it's cool.
Yes, I'm next. Like I said, I'm in classes, and then I'm also still working at the DAC as a lifeguard. Yeah, I'm not gonna save anybody. Y'all just better come to the pool knowing how to swim. That's all I'm finna say.
Real shit. Real shit.
No, honestly, it's a lap pool, so you can't even get in the pool if you don't know how to swim. For real. So, yeah, take lessons, buy lessons, or get someone to teach you. I can teach you, but I'm not doing that over the summer. So, find lessons. And then I'm also doing an internship for a startup, but it's not paid. I just want more experience. I'm doing, same thing, UX, UI, user experience, user interface, for said startup, just because, want more experience. And then hopefully, if I do a good job, depending on how stressed I am with school and everything like that, I can add it to my portfolio and my website. And then hopefully, by the middle of the summer, my website is done, so I can start applying for jobs. Yeah, because I want money. Yeah, I need money.
Dub.
So once I update my portfolio, resume, make a website, we should be Gucci. So once my website is up too, make sure whoever's listening, send that to everybody you know. I don't care where they work. Everywhere. Listen. It could be the New Jersey Transit. It could be the New York subway. It could be. Don't send me Philadelphia SEPTA. Actually, I want to work there. But no, I could work in Philly. If there's any companies in Philly, say the SEPTA is kind of, they have their staple. Zelda is the subway, but Subway likes to change it now. That I haven't seen SEPTA change it ever yet. So. Yeah, I'm. This is gonna be a podcast normal. I'm gonna just like hate on Philly a little bit, but I will say, Philly is not as bad as I thought it was. It's just the public transportation and sometimes the people, but
Like
it's
I don't
fine.
really like the people. I really don't like the public transportation, but otherwise, it's kind of
It's
vibey.
not that bad. And when I say the people, I more just mean like the violence. That's pretty much it. It just
Yeah,
be
I'll do it.
unreasonably unsafe at the most random times. So
You just walk around, try to get some McDonald's. You're just like, I just want to eat something real quick.
no, for real. I got a
Then
story
all of
for
a sudden you're
y'all.
like, I feel like I need to hide behind this car,
I got
or my life may be in mortal danger.
I got a story for y'all. I can't say it on the podcast, but I got a story for y'all.
Yeah,
Bruh.
bro said he's gonna
I'm
get
gonna just say
anxiety.
it involves 15th Street trying to take SEPTA. I don't know why there were no cops there, but that was crazy. Crazy day. Anyway,
Rolly said, if I speak about this publicly, I fear for the fact for my
I
life.
fear
So
for my
oh
life.
no, I don't think it's that. It's more of my parents are watching. I don't want my parents to think I'm in any danger going to school. Guys, I'm okay. I'm fine. Trust me. Everything's great. I'm gonna graduate and then yeah, we're gonna live.
he's all kidding. Every single time he's mentioned violence, he was joking. It was all a joke.
Exactly. And not only that, I have no ops. You know who does have an op? Drake. Look at my
Okay,
transition,
okay,
niggas.
that
Y'all
was
can't do it.
Okay, that was good. That was good. That was good. That was clean. That was clean. That was clean.
Yeah.
That was clean. Perfect ending.
Thank
Great
you.
work. Great work. So, everybody, we weren't doing well. I guess we were. We probably were. Actually, no, we didn't do podcast episodes during the time of the
We didn't
Drake.
because
I don't think it
we
was
were
happening
all
yet.
we were all busy with school. At least I
Oh
was.
no, well,
Yeah, that'll do it.
beginning of it.
But basically, we never got to speak on it. Obviously, well, I feel like we're a part of the culture, so we should probably talk about it. It was a big thing. Everybody knew about it. Everyone was talking about it. I feel like we're experts in this field, but we're gonna talk about
Certified
it.
lover boy, certified pedophile. What? Down. What? Sorry. Just had to. I had to wait.
It's banks. So we're gonna go through.
A minor.
I guess. Well, you guys want to go through the songs? Or you guys are
A
just
minor. Sorry.
On like a
It's
song
just
by
it's
song
such-
thing, I don't know specifically what was going on through every song, but I know like the overview of like the beef. But
we
if
can
you
just
want
say
to like,
vibes, like how you guys liked each song.
Well, fun fact. I'm telling you right now. Putting my hands up. I'll put my hands up completely. When the beef was happening, I gave 0 Fs. Like I did not care. Yeah. You can ask my girlfriend. I literally did not listen to a single song other than what was the one? It was the Metro Boomin album. That was it.
Oh, like that.
Like that. Cause I just like Metro Boomin. So I listened to the album and I was like, oh Kendrick. I was like, oh Kendrick. But then after that, I didn't listen to any of it. I listened to J. Cole's response because I was like, ooh, that'd be interesting. J. Cole versus, Kendrick, who's better? That's always been the argument. So, and then it was not the best.
It was
But
so
then
bad.
it felt, but the thing was, I wasn't like everyone was surprised by the apology. I wasn't really that surprised because I was like, the rap itself didn't sound like he was really trying to like,
He wasn't. He was not.
like
It
sounded
wasn't.
like it didn't want to do
It wasn't in his character. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
Like,
Like it sounded
it
like he
wasn't
wrote
that
did
he
not
was
want
not
to do it.
necessarily trying. It was just like he didn't have that dog in him to put in the kind of effort you need
To
get
go
it done.
against Kendrick, exactly. So then
Yeah.
once that happened, I was like, all right. And then Drake, I was like, I don't really. Drake, he's a great artist. He's not a rapper like Kendrick. So I was like,
Literally, ghostwriters are ghostwriters.
so I was like,
Is a proven fact that has ghostwriters. Actually, there is not ongoing theory because the song's already out, but there's a theory that his last song, The Heart Part 6, he wrote that song, which is why like the lyrics are like actually objectively just a hot pack of ass. Because it makes total sense because you listen to every other song. You need to listen to Push Ups. You listen to Family Matters. It's like, I mean, you could decide whether you like the song or not. Depends if you like Drake's flow, all that good stuff. But overall, it sounds fine enough. Like the bars go kind of hard. Especially, I personally particularly like Family Matters. I think it kind of, especially in that last section where he switches the beat, I feel like that kind of went hard. But yeah, it's good. It's good. But that last song, I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? Who would let you? What,
Who
I
let bro
know,
cook?
I know
He
your
burns
managers,
Let him cook
people who
it.
you got in your corner who listen to your songs and be like, nah, this hits. Those motherfuckers, you must have paid them so much money that they were just like, yeah, we're just not gonna tell you no ever, because that shit was just bad. Like if you had a public forum, and you were like, how y'all feeling about this? Niggas would have told you that shit sucks. They would have told you. They would have told you if you try to win this. If you're trying to at least go out not sad, because honestly, once you hit Meet the Grams and the not like us combo, the two-piece combo, nigga, your eyes black, your jaw's
On
fucked
that,
up,
bro.
nigga,
Meet
you're
the
on the floor.
Grams.
The only
Meet
thing
the
you could do
Grams.
is just get up and shake his hand amicably and be like, I'm still a man at the end of the day. Because right now, you like
Debatably,
coming off that song,
after
you just
those
look like
two
a bitch.
songs,
I ain't gonna hold you.
Bro,
You just
Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams. When you heard that, it was like, oh, this is different. He hates him.
Meet
Like
the
like he
Grams.
said, he hated him before in Euphoria, but Meet the Grams, you like, oh,
No, Meet the Grams. I was
and then
like,
not like, bro,
now, honestly, okay. So
every
basically,
single
what happened
verse.
was like, if we like think about it in fighting terms, what happened was that basically Drake went for like, I guess you could say like, let's think he went for a roundhouse kick, right? He went for a roundhouse kick, but he wasn't thinking that was gonna knock Kendrick out, but he was trying to throw something heavy out there. Kendrick ducked and then proceeded to bang that nigga right in his chin, knocked that nigga out. He was on the floor. His body flew. His body flung to the corner of the arena, right? And then that nigga got up, hazy as hell, and started swinging on the referee. That's what that nigga did. That's what that nigga did. It made it look so much worse. And then they had to have security knock him out again because he wasn't stopping. That's basically what happened. Like he knocked himself out. It was so bad. It was
That's too
so
funny.
bad. So
bro,
bad.
that's too funny. And then Not Like Us. I'm not like I said, I didn't listen to any of them until Not Like Us. And the only reason then I started listening to them was because I heard clips of all the other songs of all of both
Mm.
Kendrick Drake on TikTok, and I heard clips of Not Like Us, and I was like, hold on, this is. So I listened to. I was like, I didn't even listen to the lyrics at first because I just listened to that song first, and I said, okay, and I said, hold on, this like, wait, that way. I said, yo, this is a club banger. It's a club banger. How can people?
It
This is great.
was a couple.
And then I listened to the rest of the songs, and I was like, oh, it's bad for Drake. I was like, it's critical for Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
And then
But to be honest, I'm not even
live performance.
Yeah. Recently, coincidentally, very coincidental, that was not a part. Like the reason why we recorded this episode had nothing to do with the fact that he recently did a performance, but
I
it just
watched
happened
it,
to work
and
out.
he brought all the hoods of the West Side together. You had
He,
Bloods,
he was like, "Let
everybody.
us unite. No more fighting today. Today, the only fight we have is with Drake."
When he said this is what the culture feeling, he meant
Yeah.
it because he brought the culture. You had Russell
It's
Westbrook.
actually so
Why was
bad 'cause,
Russell
like,
Westbrook up there?
He was.
Yes.
Damn, bro.
anybody who is anybody, it's kind of just there. They're just like, if they're just vibing out on Drake hate.
Honestly, he had Tyler the
Which is-
Creator, Steve Lacy.
These niggas, they're not even the same film for real. But
He had
they just like,
LeBron
nah, fuck
singing
this
his
vibes.
lyrics, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, they're just
Hey.
vibing.
And LeBron don't even know
I know
lyrics.
Drake's
Ever.
down. I know Drake's
He
down.
really-
Bad. I know he's
nah,
on his.
LeBron really
I know he's
doesn't
just
know
in his
lyrics.
room every day. Like, damn, I don't know how to fix this one. Can I post things on my stories to save myself? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, he did. Wait, he did post on his story. Drake did post like a.
He always posted on his story. The
Like a
funniest
mirror
thing
selfie, like
was
you don't
when he
care.
responded. I think he responded to like one of Kendrick. No, it was right after Meet the Grams, and he posted on his story being like, I have money for whoever finds my missing daughter. I'm like, bruh, you don't.
Oh
don't put that on
yeah,
that.
I just
The last time someone said that, you had a son.
no. The
And you
one
had to
thing.
post on Father's Day with your son and your daddy. All right. Don't test niggas. They're gonna get on you. All right.
The one
Don't
thing that we
do
gotta talk about
Don't do that
is the amount of like info that Kendrick had on Drake. Like he had some like crazy ass information on him in his diss tracks. I remember like I was like watching a video and they were trying to like theorize if like there was like an insider, someone on Drake's team like feeding them information and stuff, or
No, Kendrick just said he was like, there are niggas who are in your circle who don't like you, and they just tell me shit. Let's keep it real.
He did say that. He also said, "Don't tell lies about me, or I'll tell truths about you." And I said, "Oh,
Now that's that is a unrecognized but hard ass bar. He was just like,
Ooh.
don't start with me, cause you don't want to start with me. You just
Well,
don't.
apparently, like it's not. It's also not that surprising because, like, apparently Drake just in the music industry, people just don't like Drake. Like he's known for doing people over a lot. I wouldn't like. It's just based off of stories I've heard.
I mean, he's a
about.
petty nigga. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
nah, he's real petty.
like or like even with like his label, or record deals or things like that, or the things he does with artists and like stealing songs and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really rich and famous guy, which usually means that he's not the greatest person ever. Which I mean, not everybody's like perfect. I mean, to be fair, but it's not totally surprising that people don't like him. Who can not like him?
Yeah.
And also people are just envious, so on and so forth. Like, there's a lot of reasons to not like him. It doesn't help that he's also seems to be kind of a weirdo.
That's also true.
Potentially interested
Some of those
in minus.
some of those
But,
lyrics in past Drake songs are not looking good. Why are we
they're
talking about
not. They're
why,
aging like forget aging like milk. These shits.
why do you
Forget
say
aging like milk.
Sierra Canyon parking lot looking like Magic City? You're filthy. You gotta go. What the, like what does that mean? I don't know. I forgot what song that was, but I remember I was watching like it was like a TikTok, and then the guy was like going past like Drake's songs, being like, okay, and then like the lyric, what happened? He'd be like, ooh,
He'd be like, whoa.
Like Drake, what did you mean about that? What were you saying? Like, yeah,
yeah, it was looking.
I know
That
there's
one in
like
particular.
I remember. I think I watched a video similar to that, and I remember there was like some Drake line where he like mentions like high schoolers or something. Like it was like something very specific where it's like if you're just listening to a song, you're not thinking about it. It's just like, oh, whatever, just a bar, I guess.
Oh, I know what you're talking
But
about.
then
It
when you
was
listen
like
with the context, it's like,
he was seeing like high school
what did you
pics.
mean
You
by
looking bad then.
Oh yeah.
That
yes.
song.
It's like something weird where it's like if you weren't thinking, if you're like just vibing to the song, you're not thinking at all. You're just like
Oh.
bars. But when you think about it with
Oh.
context, it's like
Yeah,
Drake.
High school
What are
pics.
we
You were
actually talking
even
about?
bad then?
I remember. I
Huh?
forgot the name of that
See,
song, but
Drake's not seeking.
I
He
think it came
Not
out
it's
Asher is not seeing future Drake. He's not making himself look good.
as like a sample.
like a NAM
It
to
came
the
out.
south side.
Yeah.
Dog days you can't outside. Oh, what's the name of the
Looking
song?
at high school
Oh,
pics, he was even bad then. It might have been
watch the
not
breakdown. Care for me. It's that song, but I forgot the name of it.
yeah. But yeah.
Hmm.
Looking
But
back
yeah,
it's
so
damn, I really didn't
It's
catch that when it
and
came
he has
out. I
his
remember when it came out
discography
too.
does not do him any favors.
no, but hey, some are saying that this is the biggest rap beef since what?
Tupac and Biggie.
Tupac and
Well,
Biggie. I mean, I guess that is
I would
some
say
real
I would look to say that's
nostalgia
probably
for
more
some
popular
folks.
just because I would say low. Actually, is it more popular? I guess I don't really have a context for like how big the Tupac versus Biggie beef was culturally. I feel like this. I feel like this beef is just a little bit bigger because Drake is like actually objectively just like one of the most famous artists. Period. At least for our time.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. I feel like that's a fair. Like you can make a debate about like whether who's more famous for their time, but as of right now, Drake is probably like the most famous
Yeah, well, yeah,
guy rapper.
yeah.
Like
In the
everybody knows
world,
Drake.
he is.
Yeah,
That
he
is true.
is.
But I
And then
feel as though
Kendrick
like
is
his
also a very famous and well acclaimed rapper in his
yeah.
own right. Well, he's not as let's say worldwide famous. He's also just really well known. So them going head to head, it just it just went
That is
crazy.
true. I will say his discography does bring back some great nostalgia though.
Ooh, Drake.
It
Next
does.
topic, nostalgia and
Yeah.
media.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, another clean transition. I had two. Y'all didn't even peep the first one, but it's fine.
Yeah. I mainly thought of cause I noticed like over time, mainly like the past I say the past year or so, I've been noticing like a trend in media of like bringing back old stuff. Well, maybe not even like the past year, probably like the past 10 years of like the remakes,
These companies
the
don't know how to innovate no
re-releases,
more.
and just like the callbacks to past stuff like constantly. And then I think the biggest thing was like the conversations I was having with people about like certain stuff. It was no longer like, oh, did you check out, this and this? It was like, oh, do you remember this? And then like if you have something like YouTube or TikTok and you start like looking at like nostalgia content, it's gonna keep feeding you nostalgia content. So I remember like
Yeah.
I had like TikTok, well I still have TikTok, and then I was like watching a video. It was like one of those like 2000s nostalgia of like kid stuff. It was like this like how like old classroom used to be and like be stuff like that. And then I kept getting that. I'm like, okay, this is getting a little much because after a while.
Mhm.
Like it's nice to look back on
Right.
things, but then it like it makes it
Is there a
like
bug in here?
too
You're stuck in the past,
yeah, you're
basically.
stuck in the past, and it makes the current time just miserable because you're not. I mean, not everything is like great, like today,
Mm,
but there are still like good
yeah.
things out there. It's just that when you're
Mm,
constantly like looking back, you can't look at what's around you either. Cause like right now you're gonna make memories, and then 10 years from now, you're gonna have the same experience looking back and be like, oh, I remember when I was 20, when you're like 30, you know. But when you're doing
yeah.
that when you're 20, looking back on when you were 10, all you're gonna have now is just memories of you looking back to like what happened when you were 10 years old, which would be like 20 years ago by
Yeah.
that point.
True. It's also like a combination of going back to times that were a lot simpler when you had no responsibilities. So like
Yeah.
it's I remember seeing a TikTok of someone talking about the summer of like 2016 or summer of 2017 being like, "Oh, that was the best summer. I need to have a summer like that again." Like realistically, no, it wasn't. You were just younger, where you
Yeah.
had less responsibilities
Life was
and more
easier
free
back
time.
then. It will
Exactly.
never be that way ever
Exactly.
again.
It's the same thing with like other nostalgia. Like when you look back at like old classrooms, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, all that. It was just easier. Like there
Like it
wasn't.
was not particularly better.
Yeah, I mean, it could, like depending on your
It, it,
childhood.
it could it technically could have been like I guess it depends on your life circumstance. Like maybe
So,
that particular summer would just happen to end up a lot better than other summers for you personally. But
on
in
average,
general, like
Yeah.
more than
there was
likely, it just
yeah, there was bad stuff happening like
All the
all the time.
going
It
on
time.
was just not
around you.
You just
You
just
never
just
knew about it.
didn't care or didn't know.
exactly. And now it's like now it's kind of interconnected, and that's another thing too in terms of like you like Christian was saying with like media is now the like not innovation.
They like feeding you like good vibes. So they're like,
Hmm.
don't you remember uh early regular show? Wasn't that just a banger? Watch every single episode now.
Or it's not even that. It's like also appeasing to your inner child. So it's like, remember when you really loved what's like a popular movie that people watch all the time when they were younger, like
Oh, Kung
I
Fu
think you
Panda.
could say like,
Kung Fu Panda.
yeah.
So imagine this, right? They're like, oh, you really love Kung Fu Panda? Imagine if it was real life and you actually could live it. They'd make a live action of Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Like they like
It,
to
actually,
feed
they're
your
literally
inner
That
actually
was
getting
child.
a new
so
movie. It was
weird.
like they had the trilogy come and go. It was a great trilogy. Everybody liked it. Full bangers. And then they're like, oh, let's make a fourth one. Shitty. You
Yeah.
don't like it. It's bad.
Even if like
Hmm.
even trying to like redo past mistakes. Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. They literally like, okay, y'all, we're stuck with the bad live
Live
action
action.
Avatar. Let's try to make a
What if
better
we
one.
did
And
another one that was kind of good?
it wasn't
It's
horrible, but it wasn't.
I
no, it was
didn't.
hella mid.
I
Like
didn't. Yeah,
the
it
first
was
one was like
real
actually
mid.
just bad. This one was like,
It was mid.
It's cause
like I could
like
watch it. I guess.
I was watching it when it was coming out, and I just didn't want to watch anymore. Like I watched first episode, I'm like, I really don't want to watch the second one. Like I just like put it simple, I just didn't want to watch it. I think it was cause like when I was like watching it, the it just felt it didn't really feel like authentic or I just wasn't like feeling the characters like that. I wasn't really connecting with. I mean, I like Zuko and I liked Iroh, but in terms of like Aang, Katara, like Sokka, like that, those three, like
Yeah.
I just wasn't messing with them.
I also think it's like pacing. People don't understand how great or like how good and destructive pacing can be. If your show is paced horribly,
It's just not gonna
bro,
work.
it's cooked. It's cooked. If
Yeah.
it's too
Yeah,
fast, too slow, it's not. So like even with 30-minute episodes, hour-long episodes, I think Avatar is just one that works better than
Yeah.
animated, and that's fine. I don't know what is with Hollywood's obsession with not liking animated stuff anymore,
I don't
especially
know
like
either.
2D. I'm not even talking about like 3D, but like they're not messing with 2D animation anymore for
Yeah,
some
It's
reason.
gonna take too long.
it does take too
You
And
got it.
long.
You have to dedicate a lot of time and money
Money.
into making good 2D animation. Because to be told, 2D, I've come to realize, I've officially come to the conclusion that 2D animation just is the peak of cartoons. There
of
simply
course.
is nothing better. You can kind of work around it and like, you could do your live actions and get like good effects. You do your 3D and make sure your models are pretty on point, but it will never beat a great 2D animated anything really. Even something like a little snippet, like a little 2 minute animation, like they do for like the JJK. We'll get into that, but we'll talk about the little 2D JJK things, or like they got the little, even like just the manga panel edits where they just take the manga panels and just make them move a little bit. Them shit's bang. make it 3D. It could be pretty decent. I've seen some good 3D JJK animations, but they just don't hit like the 2D ones. They just never will.
Fair.
Yeah.
I
I just feel
think,
like, but those things take forever.
yeah,
That's a lot.
I think that's probably why, like, I don't know, like you said, nostalgia and media is kind of OD. And then it's in all media too. Music, movies,
They
TV
love
shows, pictures, even fashion. Even fashion. People doing
Especially
vintage and
fashion.
like
Throwbacks.
Yeah.
I say, bro, I started getting into my fashion. Look, I have a vinyl wall. What do you talk like
That's such
nostalgia?
an
Like people
interesting,
don't,
like, I don't know. It's weird when
you
old
know?
things come back because, like, vinyls are really old. And
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I think
It's just
maybe like
aesthetic.
70s or
It's
80s.
simply, it's purely for the
Yeah,
vibes.
it is for the
Yo, I
But
will
aesthetics.
then I can
say,
get it though.
I
Vibes are
will say
vibes.
though, I have, well, I have a Miles Davis and Masego and the four albums that sound great, like on vinyl, was a Miles Davis, Masego, uh, Michael Jackson, and the Earth, Wind, and Fire vinyls I have. Those on like vinyl. It's not the audio, but like the the texture of the music.
It doesn't
It,
have
it actually it does.
like a kind of like a crackle when it starts or something like that. I don't know how to explain the
Yeah,
sound.
it's
Like
like a crackle.
staticky.
That's why I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, it adds some bit of flavor. I can't cap, and I quite like it. Not all the time, but like if I'm cleaning or something, put on a vinyl, it do hit. And I don't even have the best vinyl, but I have a cheap $50 one from like Amazon. But
Fair.
like, yeah, I do like it. But I will say it's purely for like aesthetic, even for like fashion. Even though fashion now is kind of a mix of everything. Everything's trending, but like vintage is definitely trending. Also because everything is so expensive. Like,
Yeah.
That's also true.
yeah, you have a lot more money on clothes just for buying clothes. So now people is like, okay, if I can't do that, go to the thrift store, find some great pieces that people don't want anymore for a whole lot less.
Yep.
Like I got
I
a
agree.
nice soccer jersey for $20. $20 soccer jersey? Are you bugging?
Yeah,
That's
thrift store got some good finds. I've been doing some nostalgia stuff too. Well, I started like collecting like my favorite movies, and
mm,
I go to this. It's kind of like a thrift store. It's like a used bookstore in the in New York City, and they have like a bunch of stuff. And then like sometimes like I never realized like when you put like the actual disc in and you like watch the movie, they have like a bunch of different features, and then sometimes they get real creative with like even like the menu and stuff. But then when it comes to like current movies that come out now, when they get like released on like Blu-ray or something,
mm,
um, like for one, it was just like a static image of the poster, and then just play the extras, the scenes, and then that was it.
Mm.
But then for other stuff, they have like whole animations going on to like go through like each menu. Then they have like a bunch of more features. So like I can understand wanting to kind of go back to the past because some things were more, I guess, felt more thoughtful. Because I think
mm-hmm.
for like a lot of types of media now, things are starting to become like we need to make this like as fast and as like profitable as possible, and then because of
Yeah.
that, it's
Yeah.
like lacking on the creativity. But I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes some
That's
stuff
what
is
I was.
coming back a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. I was gonna say that as far as nostalgia and like I used to say TV shows, movies, video games included. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it comes down to the fact that like especially these larger companies, the problem well, I wouldn't say the problem, but basically the companies need to make money. They like the idea of printing money, where they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just create a thing and it's just gonna make us billions of dollars instantly. So what they usually go through is like, okay, what is the fastest, most guaranteed way to get money? Well, what's something that used to work? Let's say Star Wars, for example, like the original Star Wars movies. Niggas fuck with that shit. Reference it in the most recent movie. Reference it over and over. Yoda,
Yeah.
keep referencing that nigga. Vader, keep referencing that nigga. Anakin, keep referencing that nigga. Obi-Wan, keep referencing him. Uh, uh, Avengers, Iron Man, bring that
Oh
nigga
my
back.
God. Don't
We
even
haven't
get
done
me
yet. Haven't done yet.
started.
But
Oh, don't even get me started
bring
on
that nigga
recent
back.
Marvel.
Captain
No one's
America,
keeping up with
make him
Marvel.
young again. Make him great again. And they're just like, oh yeah, they do that. People are gonna be like, damn, I heard Captain America's back, and so people can spend money. But for the most part, it works, but it doesn't work. Like if you're at all like, you think a little critically, just a little critically, you realize that like, oh, they basically didn't pay the story writers, didn't pay any of the animation budgets. They basically just had the really big hype moment, hope that people would want to see the hype moment, pay to watch the movie, and they were just like, yeah, you just gotta deal with whatever else comes with that.
Yep.
And that's the same thing with the video games, same thing with the movies, same thing with the TV shows, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like they're basically just
Music.
they use nostalgia as like the ticket to free money, and it becomes annoying because then it seems like it's all disingenuous. It kind of sours the thought of like the old stuff, where it's like you think, like I guess you could say the legacy of the old stuff becomes worse because they keep on referencing the old stuff in bad product.
But it's also like the art of like business too, because
Yeah.
like it's the same like you said. What can we do to make money quickly but also make a profit? Like it's easier to make a profit on something that is already there, that would then use an easier process,
Mhm.
less money, less people, or not pay the people, as in the writers, and then make more money because people are already going to be hype about it because it's about something that they like. Versus like
Making a new
that's
IP.
true. A great
Yeah.
example of something that takes time, cost a lot of money, and is like very creative is Spider-Man, like Miles Morales. Like both of those movies are very creative, very original. Even if they're like sequel, they're part of the same series, but they're
Yeah.
still so different in
Yeah, like
both.
technically, like the blueprint for those things is like it's there, like this multiverse of Spider-Man. That's not a brand new concept, but like
They're
the
doing it
way
in a
they
fresh
did it,
way.
and even like using Miles Morales as the main character rather than Peter, like that's a new idea. Like even the
And then
storyline, that's brand new.
even the animation, combining different aspects of animation in one movie. You have 2D with 3D with real life. Like literally, Childish Gambino
Some
was
Legos.
in the second one.
Yeah.
Legos. Like then you have a character that uses different frames of motion because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
doesn't like conforming. Like the creativity is so you have like moments of that. I feel like, but then you also have moments of people just trying to do like
That's probably
you know
Like the
the
easiest thing possible.
perfect
extra.
synergy. You make money, or at least like the executives make money. The people on like people working in the film are somewhat satisfied. I mean, I did hear some stuff about them being a little overworked, which I'm not really surprised about. But generally, they made like a
Not even a
really
little.
amazing product, and then the audience are happy. So
Mhm.
like it's kind of like that's kind of how I feel like it should be,
Dude,
where
Lonnie,
like everything's kind of feeding
it
into each
should, but
other.
the takeaway is it does take a long time. Like those
Yeah.
two movies were like already in production, and the third wasn't. So then that's why it was like seemed quicker for the second movie to come out after the first. But then the third one, they were like, "Oh, it's gonna come out in 2027." Then like, "Oh, nah, it's coming out in 2028 or something like that." Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be a minute
When they
Yeah.
said
until
it
we
was
get the
coming
third one.
out like
And
a year or two later, I was like, no way, bro. This took
no
way
way.
too
And then
much.
Like
Like,
they would have
nah,
especially
had to have
it
bro.
already
was
been working
during
on
the
the movie.
writers. Yeah, and it was also during the writer's strike. So the
I
writers
was
was
like,
like,
nah, bro.
"Bro, we're not working
They're
on
like,
this."
huh? That shit is not
Exactly.
storyboarded. I
Pay
don't know
us.
what he's talking about.
They said pay us, and then we'll write it. Then it could come out a year later if you pay us.
A
So
2 year turnaround is
Yeah.
crazy. That's insane.
crazy.
Yeah. Like hell, the Japanese animation studios, they would be like, bro, let us in on your secrets. 2 years, 2 years for a movie like that.
Bro, if
Let
you
us
really
know.
want to
Let
talk about
us
it,
know.
because okay, now we can get into the next topic. JJK Shibuya. I know we talked about
Actually, we could probably do
uh
anime. We could do anime manga first before we get into
anime
things,
manga.
just because we're talking about animation.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
So then, but still, with Shibuya, you know the amount of stuff people were like, people.
People were hating. When people were hating, I was like, what are you talking about? This is peak. What are you
No,
talking
I'm not
about?
talking about. I'm talking about the animators. Like when it came out
Oh,
on
oh yeah,
Twitter that they
yeah,
were
oh yeah. They
mistreated like
hated their lives. I'm 100% sure
crazy.
they were lit. They were
Oh,
writing their death letter right there. They were like, "Yeah,
I couldn't
today's my
imagine,
last
like,
day."
oh my.
And
yeah.
I can understand though, because they go through it. They go
Yeah,
through it.
did y'all watch that zombie movie? Not movie, anime.
Zom 100. I
Yes,
didn't
Zom
watch it, but I heard
100.
about it. Yeah.
The animators are the main character at the beginning of the show. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah. I
explain it,
remember. I
but
remember.
yeah,
They were talking about that where like I forget what scene it was. It basically was talking about how basically these guys are animators and allegedly probably It was basically the situation that happens with like the people in their building is basically just supposed to be them.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
Yeah.
yeah, bro. It was crazy, but at the same time, like it is like yeah, that's just animators. Like animators, they gotta take something that doesn't move and then make it move, and in that you kind of lose detail. So that's kind of what the topic is about. Like for
Mhm.
me, I brought this topic because I was thinking like, will the difference between manga and anime ever like come
I got
closer
Right.
in
a,
terms of detail?
I got a good example. Um, the best example I could think of is One Piece with the Wano arc.
Mm.
So like Wano has
Mm.
some fire animation, right? Some fire animation.
It
But
did. It did.
the manga of Wano towards the end, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but the quality was starting to go down in terms of like not like I didn't think the art was bad because like over time for Wano it started getting like more sketchy and more loose, which wasn't a
Hmm.
bad
Yeah.
thing. But the issue was that like with the sketchiness and the looseness, it lost some of the clarity when it came to like understanding what was going on in the
Yeah.
art. And along
Yeah.
Yeah.
with trying to
And then
have
also I remember people were talking about how there was paneling issues where like the
yeah,
panels were getting too small
they're getting
and that
small. There
sort of
was
thing.
big text. There was like a lot of like elemental stuff going on with like the water and the fire, and especially with manga, there's
Mhm.
no, there's not like a lot of like shading. There's no like black and not like a lot of like
There's only black and
grays.
white. Like you can't
Yeah,
Only black and white. Yeah.
and they
discern things
and
that well.
the yeah, and those grays like really help to like give some more like clarity to understand like what things are and like what you're
Mhm.
looking at. So I think that's where like the anime helped because it just fleshed it out more. You can understand what's going on.
Mhm.
Plus, it's like really good
Yeah.
animation. And then
I
what we
mean,
were
it
talking
is.
about before with like Demon Slayer, like Demon Slayer, the anime
Uh,
is very different from Demon Slayer, the manga,
different.
mainly because of the
Okay.
animation. The animation is just too good to
The
like,
animation, it does
yeah,
everything.
Harry. Harry. The animation for Demon Slayer carries the manga. And the thing is the manga art isn't even like bad. It's just it's a lot worse than the anime. But I was actually saying the opposite. I was saying that a lot of times the manga art
A lot
is
better than
better than the
the
anime.
anime. I mean, that's true. I will say, my example I was thinking of was Tokyo Revengers. Now, we're going to ignore the
Mm.
ending. We're not talking about the ending right now. We're just talking about the anime and the manga comparison. All right, so ignoring the story for a quick moment. The art in the Tokyo Revengers manga, very good. Especially early on in the early parts,
Horrifying.
the parts that have already been animated. Very good.
Horrifying.
No lie. But the anime, it's not bad. I was talking about it while I was at work. I was telling my friend. But it's not bad. It's just kind of mid. Like when you think about Demon Slayer, that is like around the peak of animation. Like when they're like, hey, I'm paying you correctly, and I want you to still slave away, but I'm paying you correctly. You know what to do.
Make a
They
good
did their
product.
thing. All right. You got it. All right. You get your bonus if people watch the anime a lot and they
I'll
logged
even
in,
give you a
right?
break. I'll
That's
even
like
give you a break.
I'll
You a
even give
break.
you a 20-minute break per day.
And some food. You can have some crackers and water.
Oh, not great,
And see what
boss.
they did? They went crazy. They
How's the
went crazy.
family?
Tokyo
I haven't
Revengers,
seen them.
the anime is not terrible. Like you look at like just overall, it looks all right. Like you can tell it's still Tokyo Revengers. It's not the worst of anime where it's like, Seven Deadly Sins, our loss. Or Records of Ragnarok, our loss.
Oh
Right? Where it's
yeah.
just slideshow. It was fairly decently animated, but it wasn't hitting. All right. But you could still imagine like, oh, if they took it a level higher, it easily could have been peak.
True.
Easily.
And
And I feel
like,
like,
Very true.
oh,
yeah. No, I was gonna
I
say
feel
the
like
same thing.
oh yeah. I would say that the reason why I would say that these things can't the gaps between these two things can't be mended perfectly. I feel like eventually maybe we might get to a point where like maybe with using new technological tools and stuff, we could probably get to a point where like some of that stuff can like really be brought really close. But right now we don't do that is because um basically manga panels you artists can spend like I don't know a week drawing a singular panel, every individual bead of sweat, every hair follicle. Like he can make a panel
One
like a
Punch
stance
Man. One Punch
so
Man.
hard, so
That is
hard.
that
No
is One
back.
Punch
Like
Man.
you think of banger panels. You think me personally, I'm thinking of One Punch Man. All right, I'm
Mhm.
thinking of a certain hero hunter in his prime. Right, I'm thinking of a certain artist. It was Murata. Murata drawing in his prime. Right, I'm thinking of stances. I'm thinking of
I'm thinking
galaxies.
of
I'm
My
thinking
Hero.
of peak.
Loki,
I'm thinking
I'm
of
Right,
My
I'm
Hero.
I'm gonna give Bleach a shout out because Bleach got some good ass
Bleach
art.
2.
Bleach got some
My
fire
Hero
art.
Bleach
and
got hard panels. Bleach got hard panels. But we're thinking of all these different panels, right? You think of them drawing, right? They're spending time drawing these things. They're spending like hours upon hours, days upon days, drawing
Mhm.
each individual panel, making sure everything gets detailed, whatever. And all they got to do is just make this one look good. That is it. That's all they have to do. Anime, when that guy makes that hard ass pose, right? They can't let that be static. So let's think of, I'm thinking of a Bleach panel. We think of Ichigo shadowed. He's in his Bankai. He got the cape flowing. That one panel, right? Cool in the manga. Great drawing. Get it colorized. Beautiful. Anime, if they want to do the same thing, they need to draw that panel. Then they need to draw at least, who knows? I mean,
30.
Pitcher will probably have a better idea for like how many frames you would need. But
Probably
they need
30.
to draw like, let's say 15 different frames of that exact same stance with the flow, with the cape flowing, make sure the wind looks nice, make sure his hair is moving the right way you would expect it to move and stuff. It could look really hard, but it's not gonna look as hard as that individual frame from the manga, just because you gotta get it to look good overall and
Oh
like
yeah.
make it look semi-realistic. And then we're talking about a whole
Yeah.
anime episode. I
Poses.
mean,
Poses look fire in
like
manga, but fight scenes are
yeah.
where it
Worst,
really
That's
comes
where
the
animes
together in
worst.
gotta
Oh,
that's where animes do their thing.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of when you say fight scenes are the worst in manga? Jujutsu Kaisen. I can't when they fight in Jujutsu Kaisen, I can't understand a thing, not a single thing. I be
It
looking.
definitely
I'm
is.
like,
It
who's
is a
punching?
work. Is definitely work to understand JJK fighting.
Bro,
It
I'd be like, yo,
definitely
who's
is.
punching right now? Who's getting hit? I don't
Like
understand.
how many like sometimes it can like I guess it depends on the manga artist, I guess, and like how
Sure.
the show does their fights. Like, but yeah, definitely sometimes I'd be looking at a panel, I'd be like, what do you do?
Early
I
Jujutsu
mean,
Kaisen was fire. Like early Jujutsu Kaisen, I could understand the fights.
I
I don't
like
know what they doing now, but
I
it
like how
made
they
me
draw like
confused.
the I don't know what's the phrase. I guess like how he makes the poses themselves. Like I can understand like let's say trying to think of let's say Yuji's fighting Suguna, right? And he's like punching him and there's like a
Mm.
singular like frame where like he's punching him and it impacts and then you see Suguna like like recoil from the punch. Like stuff like that I can
Mm.
understand. But it's like the flurries when they're punching like rapidly or when
Yeah,
they're going really
Yeah,
really
yeah,
fast.
yeah.
Things
Or they're
like
like they're
that.
counting back and forth. It gets a little
yeah.
tricky.
Or where they're running after each other. Like if they're
Oh
running or
yes.
moving at any, bro, I'd be like, where,
Because I think
Yeah.
after a
where
Like
where
certain
are we?
point,
yeah,
like
it is
it
tricky,
just gets
but I
messy
feel like
after
it
that.
makes sense because like when you think about the anime in comparison to the manga, you think about like, especially like for example the fights in Shibuya, like they do a lot of fucking moving in a
Yes.
fight. Like they're using the environment, they're jumping all over the place, they're countering back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like we think of all the big fights in the manga, and then think of all the big fights in Shibuya. Like we're thinking about
Mhm.
those correlating fights. It's like that's a lot. Like they're doing
Yeah.
a lot. Like I'm thinking about like the calling games and stuff. Are we transition? Are we transition? Want to transition?
Yeah, that's
We'll
nice.
transition.
Yeah,
Well, we're talking about the calling game,
Man,
right? Everybody's talking about how it's like it's looking rough. I'm like, honestly, it does look rough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, it's all perfect. Like don't hate on my go gay. Like no, the art's not perfect. But I'm also like,
it's
it's
understandable.
still intelligible. It's definitely still decent art. It's
I
not
have one
terrible.
issue, but you keep
And
going.
guaranteed when it gets animated, because it will, people are gonna be like, y'all were saying this is trash,
Peak,
this is peak, this is
peak,
peak. And I was like,
peak.
because it was peak.
peace,
It had some problems, but like for all intents and
peace.
purposes, like there's like semi-growing pains because you're a manga artist for the last couple of years, you've been drawing the same story for the last couple of years. Like shit's gonna change. Like not
True.
everybody is a generational talent where like they're like a Oda, where like they've been doing the same shit for like decades, and they're just like, nah, I'm still dropping bangers like it was yesterday. Like, not everybody can do that. No, not everybody's built like that.
My
I
only
mean,
issue with
I
the
yeah.
you want to
Go
go?
first, Christian.
Okay.
Sorry.
My only issue with the culling games, or just like that part, low key, most of JJK. My only issue with it is the narration, the parts where they narrate the what
I
is
was gonna
actually
say the same
happening with like their moves, like what their curse technique is, things like that, right? Because the way he explains it, I can understand it, but he does it in like a very complicated, complex way.
Yeah, he over
Like
explains.
No,
Like,
it's not even over.
actually, I was watching a video about this. He explains things like he's a power scaler. Like he's like, no, I
yeah,
need to get into a scientific reason of why this happens, instead of just be like, it's just magic, all right?
True, but he
yeah, I
also
just go
does
with it,
like
but like yeah,
That's it.
he does a whole lot of telling and not a lot of showing. Like it really be a case of like, oh, like Chozo, like I'm gonna go back to Shibuya for instance, but like
Yeah.
Chozo did like used his blood cloning to like hit Itadori off guard or something like that, and then the narrator be like, so when he hardens it in his blood and everything, I'm like, hold on, you could have just like shown that in the blood or something. Like you didn't have to,
To be
even in the
fair, in
manga, you
that
didn't have to
situation,
narrate
uh,
it. I know
to be
that
fair, in
situation
that
is bad, but like,
yeah, I feel like in that situation is like the only way you
that's a
could.
good
Well,
one.
you know, he could have shown that.
I
I
got a
guess
good
it depends.
one. I got a good
I
example.
like. I feel like some situations, I feel like the reason why he does that is because he's like, I don't necessarily intend to do that right now. Like it may come up
later.
later,
Yeah,
but I just want you to like know that that's a thing. And sometimes it can feel like, oh, yeah, I just read. I just spent time trying to
No, but
understand
it's
this paragraph,
always, but it's
and
always.
it
I
ends up
couldn't
not
bring up a
mattering. It's like,
true, but I
why
couldn't
did
bring up a Sukuna example because like
hmm,
he does it all the time
he does
with
do it all the
Sukuna.
time? Sakuna,
Anytime he needs to explain his power system, it'd be with Sukuna, bro. He'd be like, "Oh, Sukuna didn't die because if you look at all the, I'm like, this makes
nah.
zero sense." Explain.
The issue, the biggest issue I had that like the biggest example that showed the issue was with Hikari. Hikari's curse technique, bro. I don't understand. Like I
no,
get it, I get
see, that's
it,
a
but I
perfect
don't
example of
get
like
it.
over explaining for
Like
no reason. You could just said
I get it.
he's a gambler.
He's a
That's all
gambler
you
and
had to
he
say. That's all you
wins.
had to say.
But then he was
He
like, "Oh
gambles.
no, he has to get like a certain percent chance." But the way his curse technique works is that he gets that chance more frequently. So then he gets like the hit off during
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
yeah.
domain.
Like
It's like what?
it's literally it's literally a perfect scenario of that because all those details don't matter.
They
Matter. They
don't.
don't.
It
All you
never
actually,
matters.
you don't even need to know that he gambles. All you need to know, he's immortal for the next 60 seconds.
Yeah, and he's immortal.
Dude,
And you
honestly,
can and he
yeah.
has a reverse curse technique too.
First curse technique. That's
Yeah,
all you need to know.
that's all he has to say. But
Everything else didn't
like I
matter.
said, he explains. Like I feel like he likes his power scaling community. He's like, I want you guys to make other versus battles. So I'm gonna explain how it works. I'm going to explain how it works because
Bro
it's fun
gives
for
the
me.
percentages too.
Loki, I think he's like a hunter. I
Gives
think
the
he's a Hunter X
percent.
Hunter fan. He probably
Oh,
is a Hunter
yeah.
X Hunter man,
That's
a son of
They do
the
the
over
exact same
explaining goat.
thing.
It was
He
like,
does do
nah,
that.
my power system,
It does
it's
do
gonna
that.
have rules, damn it, and you're gonna know them.
But I feel like Nen with explanation, like at least there was a system to it. I feel like with this cursed energy, cursed technique, there's no system because that's where he'd be making up some fool sometime, bro. Especially, listen, we can now get into spoilers, heavy spoilers if you haven't read the
Forget
JJK
for
manga.
heavy spoilers. We're just
But
gonna talk about the manga. If you don't want to know what's gonna happen, just go ahead
yo,
and leave.
I just it
Okay, okay.
bothers me.
I know what you're going for. I was just gonna say right now, I'm not no, I'm not a Sukuna apologist. That's not true. I'm a Sukuna realist. All right,
He
I'm a
should have
Sukuna
lost.
realist. All right, I know
Nigga
exactly
should
where
have
you're going with
lost.
this. I'm a Sukuna
He
realist.
should have died.
He does some bullshit.
He should have
He does
died.
some bullshit, but it's not all
What
the
are you
time.
talking about? The slice that cuts the world. Suck my dick, bitch. He should have
Okay,
died, bro.
I'm giving that fair one because we were told a few times that like you can
Like,
involve your curse technique or whatever. So while it's like it's dubious, it's like I mean what am I supposed to say? No, he can't do that because the story it's been said that he can't. Like you can
Oh no,
evolve
he
your
can.
abilities.
Listen, I'm not the writer. He can. I'm just it pisses me off, bro.
Yeah, it's
My goat Gojo got done dirty. Nigga almost clutched
yeah.
a 3v1.
He
Almost
almost
did
And
it.
now
he almost
Sukuna is
clutched it.
clutching a 25 a verse v1 because everybody in the verse is now just partnering together to try to
Sakura
kill
Kaisen
Sukuna.
right
And
after
Sukuna
after Gojo versus Sakura
the
Kaisen.
Kaisen ever since
Kind of
uh,
He's
stressing me out.
like I'm going to canonically run the gauntlet. You will acknowledge me as the strongest.
But then it's not even run the gauntlet. It's run the gauntlet while just talking shit to Yuji. Like Yuji's there the whole time since day, and he's just like, "Get out of my face. You're strong. I like you. Get out of my face. I like you." Like that's literally the whole thing.
For
Usually when
real.
he starts actually beating up Sukuna,
Fuck
you
you.
piece of shit, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Get out of my face. Get
Oh,
away
for
from me.
real. Get away from me. You suck. You amount to nothing. What did you usually
That's
Funny.
do?
why he switched
Even,
bodies.
even, even. What's the teacher's name? It was in a recent chapter. I don't think
Oh,
Christian would know.
Kusakabe.
Even he got more respect from Sukuna than Yuji ever did.
That's fucking crazy.
Barely though,
Barely,
barely.
but
He literally got the joke. Oh, ordered one pose, got a couple of punches in, and then proceeded to get one shot. Like
yeah.
he really got like the bare minimum respect of like I let you get a couple hits in.
But still, it's
I'll call
Sukuna
you.
cousin.
But yeah, but
It's
I will
Sukuna
say
cousin.
though, the one thing there was like okay, there's definitely a couple instances where I was like, dang, how's Akuna survive though? Where I was like, okay, fine, I can see why people have problems. There's only one instance where I'm like, okay, they actually like objectively Gege just did something that was just stupid. Um, the one in particular was the Higuruma. Wait, it was it was the
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
courtroom. He's supposed to get
Yeah.
his technique stolen, but then it takes
Oh,
the curse tool. That was stupid
that was
because there
dumb.
were better ways to do that exact same scene that did make it look like, oh, Sakuda's just a cheater. Like
Yeah,
you're just sucking off Sakuda objectively. You're currently sucking him off in
he should have
manga
died then. He
and
should have died
making it
then.
through.
He really
Honestly,
should have
Like
facts.
died then.
that one was bad. That one was bad. Mostly because he like okay, Sukuna's really strong. He is the strongest sorcerer. He got the hands. He got technique. He got skills. He knows how you fight. He can analyze you very well. He knows what you're doing. All that good shit, right? He's supposed to be like that. Objectively. You do not need to save his technique. He can just beat Higuruma's
You,
ass.
yes.
Like literally, he can just kick his ass. There's no reason for you to give it to his tool. Well,
Well,
have his tool thing taken
it
away
did say
because he didn't
Higuruma was
fucking use it.
rivaling
He used it
Gojo.
one time against a guy who uses lightning.
Oh,
Then he proceeded to put it away
was
and never use it again. You could have just had it be, oh, he gets his technique stolen. Cool.
I
And
think
then
the
he just
way
beats
they
Higuruma up. It could have just been that simple. It really didn't.
I think the way they were like
But
building
then instead,
Higuruma up
by doing
was
it that way, it just makes it look like, oh, so he's just a cheater. Because other stuff, I'm like, okay, like, oh, how come he could do the world slash and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, I give that to Gege. Gege got that one. Or like certain other ones, I'm like, okay, like, but that one in particular, I'm like, that was just stupid. Like, that was just bad writing. Like, just you didn't need to do it that way. You didn't need to do it that way at all. Kamitoke could have been the strongest tool ever. We have no idea what it does. Not even the slightest. Not even the slightest clue. He literally never uses it. Ever. It was just unnecessary.
It was just in his hand. But I
Outside
just,
of that, though,
I
I'm
know. I
like,
feel like there's a few times there I just find it
there's
funny though too, because I read the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, but I also read the My Hero manga, right?
mm,
Like after this recent season came out, I was like, I don't know why I haven't read it. I was like, it's been good. It's just I'm just read it. So I read it. And I just find it funny how in JJK they have all of these backup plans behind backup plans behind backup plans, right? They got plan one in case this don't work. Plan like all against like Sukuna. Ever since Gojo was like plan A. Hey,
plan A.
hey,
Gojo just lock in. Gojo didn't lock in.
Gojo locked
Okay,
in. We gonna
he
guys.
locked
support
in,
you.
but
Gojo locked in. He got cheated. But then they made plans B through 10. Like they went through the alphabet and then added numbers. That's how many backup plans they had, right? And strategies. Bro, at My Hero, they only had one game plan. They were like, split them up. Deku, you go against Shigaraki. Endeavor, you go against All for One. what's his name? Todoroki, you're going against your brother, and we're gonna try and see who wins. And then it all went to shit when Deku was just like, I got pulled to the wrong place.
Like, oh well, I guess we're just fucked.
No,
Improvise. Keep
no, Dad,
improvising.
it was
And we'll
just
figure it
like,
out.
well, improvise until Deku can make it back to where he needs to be. Like, I just think the two like writing strategies is very funny because legit in Jujutsu Kaisen, they're trying to throw all the different plans at Sukuna, and
And they're just like, we need it. But to be fair, I
it's not
guess
working. Other
actually,
than Itadori's, left, right, black flash on repeat, black
yeah,
fast
that
spam,
was
just
definitely working. That was definitely working for a little bit.
Shift X times 20. If Itadori was a video game, that would just be it. Just Shift X.
I
It's
think
like
the
just he's an action character. Just keep pressing square. Keep pressing
For
Keep him in the
square.
corner of the map and just
for real, I think the highlight was definitely the Sukuna Gojo fight, and then after that,
Oh yeah, definitely.
it was just kind of like everyone gets a turn against Sukuna, which isn't like bad because
except for
it's
Itadori.
like yeah, except for him. 'Cause
Except for
Sukuna
Itadori,
was like,
until he finally gets to a little bit of fighting, and he's like, "Get out of my face."
yeah, it
Nah,
not bad,
for
but
real.
it definitely feels like it gets to a point where like, okay, where is this
It
going?
does feel like it
'Cause it's
drags on.
like
It definitely
you're
does.
making him unbeatable. Like who's gonna beat him then? Like eventually someone
But
has
No,
to.
we
no,
thought Gojo
okay.
was unbeatable until Gege was just like psych, and they
Yeah.
still glazed him
To be fair,
afterwards.
I mean, Sukuna's gonna lose. Just outright, Sukuna is going to lose. This is a
What
fact.
if he doesn't?
He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose.
What if he
Nah,
doesn't?
that'd be a
I
crazy
don't.
move.
I think the way Gege
Imagine
is
he
writing the
goes
story right now,
backwards.
I feel like objectively, it's gonna really come down to. Actually, I don't really know how they're gonna go about that.
See,
That's what I mean.
Sukuna might win.
It's not because I don't think Sukuna can die. I think Sukuna is very. I feel like right where we are, like in the most recent chapter. Okay, given the most recent chapter ends with Sukuna. I wouldn't say winning the fight. He's winning the fight, but the first little brawl, the first little 1-2, he kind of won that. But I think we're heading towards the point where it's like Sukuna's kind of out of stuff. He's out of options. He's used the fire arrow. It didn't really work the way he wanted it to. Some other stuff happened. I'm trying to save Christian from spoilers, but
I'm not gonna lie.
he's
When
pretty
you
much
get to that though,
down to
Christian,
like his last stuff.
it's so sad. Like sad in like a ah,
Uh,
it's like a sad like a damn, not like a someone died type of damn. It's just like
I wish that
a
word
respect type of.
Oh, okay.
It's like a respect type of damn. Like sad. Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't messing with like. So I guess we're gonna go into this topic now, but like if Jujutsu Kaisen was better before Shibuya or like during Shibuya or after, and I kind of messed with the story until after Gojo versus Sukuna, mainly because like it just didn't. I felt like things weren't creative. It was very much throw whatever you got. Like the plans, I was like, oh, I didn't expect this. Let's see how this can work. And then it was just like, he got some type of barrier bullshit for this. Like it kind of was very repetitive until that twist. That twist when, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I said,
You're talking about that one. Okay. But I would say,
when he came
honestly,
back,
I
I
actually
said,
I
damn.
actually kind of enjoy the Sukuna Kaisen stuff, mostly because I'm like, Sukuna's the strongest, right? This is a fact, right? And so it's like, this is the big climactic fight. This is the end of the series. At least that's my understanding of it as it stands right now. Obviously, if you watch this episode, if you watch this episode of the podcast a couple months from now, and it turns out like, oh no, there's still one more enemy left, disregard the statement. But as it stands right now, I'm like, okay, this is the last fight, right? Once they beat Sukuna, that is it. These are the last enemy, is the last guy on the field. It only makes sense for there to be like a big climactic fight with him where everybody participates because,
Yeah.
well, if they don't fight now, they're just not fighting, just objectively. So I'm like, it
That's
makes
fair.
sense, and he's the strongest. He's supposed to be,
That's fair.
the toughest guy. If he lost quickly, it would be stupid because then it would basically be like, well, he beat Gojo, and then he like died like 5 chapters later. Like, what was
True.
the
Fair.
point? So I feel like also another thing is that like a weekly versus a binge, it feels different.
That's also. I guess that's
I
it.
feel like
True.
that's a huge thing, and I feel like that's a lot of things
True.
people are realizing about culling games. Whereas like everybody was reading culling games week by week, we're like, nah, culling games, Gege lost his flow. But then
I
people who
like
read the culling
Colombia.
games in a binge are like, culling games low key
Yeah,
better than Shibuya.
I read it in a
Now I don't know
binge,
about better than Shibuya, but
but
obviously we'll kind of get the better vibe check on once the anime comes out, and then we
yeah,
have like everybody watching, and they can kind of determine like, okay, more objectively, like, okay, was it better than Shibuya? Was it equal to Shibuya? But I feel like a lot of the writing, especially coming into like the week to week right now, it probably would just feel better once we have a conclusion, so that then we know where everything was going. Because right now it feels aimless because we're like,
I
what
think it's
is
because
Gege
I think it's
cooking?
just because it's just constant fights. Like there's not much story. I think that's also probably why it's kind
That's
of a
fair.
bit
That's fair.
different. But like
There's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, because this is all payoff, and so because it's all payoff, it is just all fights. So it's like
yeah,
there's nothing. We're not
I
building up to anything. Like they're just fighting,
yeah.
and or telling us about a plan on how they're going to fight Sukuna in the past that is currently
Then
happening.
fighting.
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah.
I will say
I'm sure it's gonna
that
look. This is gonna be crazy in the anime though. When we finally get this in like 10 years, bro, this is gonna
I
be
need
fucking
the Maki versus the ZN family. I need to see my girl
I need
get
that
some
immediately.
bodies. Get some
I need that
bodies.
immediately.
She's gonna pack up her whole
The
family.
anime. Actually, they're not gonna even do a
I
movie
need
about
that.
this. I feel
I
like they
need
could
that
easily put
immediately.
this in a movie. This would bang so hard. Just and it's I just
Fully
imagine it
realized
starts with
Maki.
it starts with Kashimo popping in, followed by Hikari, followed by a roommate. Oh my god, that the beginning of a season like that. Oh, I'd fall to my knees and call it peak. But in the manga, it's like, okay. But once the anime happens, I'm sure it's gonna be like, bro, Gege never stopped cooking. He never stopped cooking. He was simply still feasting. Called it peak. But until then, right
I'm
now,
also
subject
kind
to
of
opinion, it's subject to change because I have read manga. Tokyo Revengers, where it felt like they had a lot. They had a lot of spices. They had a lot of ingredients come together, and then they threw that shit in the
They
trash.
should
So
real
I will
real
wait for
quick,
I will
real
wait for
quick,
Gege to put the
real
bow on top
quick.
to be like, peak or no peak. But right now I'm like I'm trusting him. I'm trusting him because he brought back Toto. He brought it back. All right. He did the in chain. He's cooked before. He's cooked up until this point. I'm trusting him to cook once more.
Tokyo, real quick. Tokyo Revengers should have ended right when I forgot his name now. It's been a long time. But right when
Kisaki.
no. Yeah, right when that whole like conflict.
When he died, we went back
Yeah.
to the future. It should have ended.
That should have ended. It should have ended there.
They could have like a
Shoulda ended
somber
there.
ending, like we could have saved Mikey.
Couldn't say Mikey.
Maybe could do a second manga where he like thought it over, like really thought about the play. I feel like he had an idea of like, oh yeah, we're gonna go back and save Mikey, and at the very end, everybody's gonna be cool. And he didn't bridge the gap between those two things. He was like saving Mikey, saving everybody.
Or even do like could have done like an alternate type of manga
much
that you
distance.
like explore like an alternate timeline to see if they could save
Yeah.
Mikey. But it should have ended there because right afterwards it just should have
my
ended there.
first thing with Tokyo Revengers. One thing they needed to do for the first season, first few chapters, 50 chapter, whatever. Takamichi's character wasn't that bad. Afterwards, you're just bad at saving people, bro. You're going back and doing nothing. Like, oh, it makes me so angry, right? So like, even if the story was decent until like the reason why the I forgot his name too, but the reason why Kisaki was doing all was because he was just jealous. That once I found out that
Dumb
reason,
reason. I mean, I get the
stopped
idea of like they're
reading,
middle
and then I
schoolers, so you
stopped
could also
watching.
have such a complicated reason. But it's also like, so you're telling me that he became a Yakuza boss and murdered everybody effectively
because
of jealousy
Takamichi
over a girl? Like
In middle school?
one girl at that?
In
Like I get
middle
if they like had prior beef or something.
bro, you are 13 years old.
It's like, let's be so real. So you're saying he's an incel. That's it. But he's a Yakuza, but also he's a Yakuza boss.
I don't care.
He could get bitches.
He
Let's be
can.
so real. He could
He
get
wants one.
bitches.
He wants
He's
that one.
dripped
The
out.
one that got away.
One thing Tokyo Revengers got right was that the drip kind of went hard.
The drip always been
He
fire.
could get bitches. He was not ugly. He could get bitches. Why are we acting like he could only get one girl? He could get bitches. There's no reason why he would be doing this in real life.
That's
He
my
simply
issue with
wouldn't be
Tokyo
like
Revengers.
this.
Is the fact that the reason was stupid at the end, and I was like, it's fine though. Like if it ended there, I would have actually been okay with it and watched the season. It kept going and got worse, and then I stopped watching. Once I found the reason, I stopped reading and I stopped watching because I was like, this is dumb. If Takamichi had like a glow up and actually was like, starting to learn how to
Well,
learn how to fight.
He was.
I mean, they kind of did it. Like he did start being strong, but low key, I feel like they should have spent a little. Like I don't know. He just stopped cooking. He wrote an ending. Okay. Here's what I think happened. I'll give him the small pass of maybe he had the ending right, and his editor told him honestly it's just getting real big. Keep writing.
Keep going.
He was like,
that's where
he was
they
like,
get you.
You sure?
That's where they get
I was
you.
kind of thinking about ending like
So it
now,
gets you.
actually.
The ending
And
was
they were like,
good.
No, you're
keep
done.
cooking, keep going. And they're like, okay, I'll try.
That's what happens
And
when you
then-
know you've cooked. You've made your dinner. You've made it. You cooked. You finished
Eventually,
it. Like,
though,
I'm done.
you
They're
gotta
like, oh,
eat
this was
it.
good.
You gotta wash the plate and put it away. You can't
Wait,
keep
but
cooking.
they're like seconds. He's like, but that was
That was the
my
whole
last
story.
word.
That
Seconds.
was it.
Seconds.
Keep writing.
More. Keep going.
you should have
There's
stopped.
no more ingredients. Keep going. But I will say, Windbreakers. I haven't read Windbreakers, but watching.
Oh yeah, I've heard about
Windbreakers,
that.
it is great. It's what Tokyo Revengers could be. So I'm loving
Oh,
every
no,
single
but to
episode.
see
of
that,
Windbreakers.
but Tokyo Revengers was supposed to be bigger, and then they
It's
kind
not.
of.
But
But I mean,
Windbreakers,
we'll see. Obviously,
I will say though,
manga
Tokyo
artists,
Revengers got the
manga artists can write one bad story and they're writing another
biggest
good
trip.
story. I mean,
True.
but
Tokyo
that
Revengers got
ending,
the best trip
that ending
behind
left
Bleach.
such a sour taste in my mouth. Like I'll
It
even
does.
give him extra credit of saying the idea of going back and being like, oh, I'm gonna try to save Mikey, wasn't like it felt dumb because I mean, you literally drew the ending. You literally drew the ending. Which I feel like if he didn't draw the ending, if he just made something else a problem as well besides the Mikey thing, it might have felt a little bit more reasonable for him to go back. But because it was like literally the only like in story characters that tell you, nigga, go get married and shut the fuck up. Go be happy. Why are we doing this dumb shit? If it wasn't for that, I feel like people would have really had less problems with it. But because it just like in story and in real life, everybody was like, "Stop being stupid, please. Stop."
Yeah.
Stop
He got the
being
best
stop trying to
ending, but
stop.
decided to
Yeah.
like, let's reload that save because I want to see what
let's
other
run it
endings
back.
they got.
Round two. Like,
He said, I'm on a roll. I saved my girl. Time to save my home, but no, nigga, relax.
you just don't need
You
to do
barely
that.
saved your girl too. You failed a few times.
Me personally, I think it would have been better because throughout that entire story, he was saving like a lot of people. It was like, hey, I'm gonna save this person. And I thought it would be really good to like do a reversal on that and be like, hey, you could save people, but you can't save everybody. And I think it would have been
Like,
better if
Some
it just
people are just
ended
bad
right
people.
there.
Mikey's just one
Like
of
a
those
nice
people.
bittersweet
If that would have
ending.
just been the story, that's fine.
Or he needed to be saved. He became corrupt, and boom, then he needed somebody to save him. Something like that. I don't know. It's just not whatever.
Like,
they're
there's a
doing
lot of
now.
direction he could have went to, but that one it was like, but I'll even give him the credit. I'll even give him the credit of being like, you know what? Maybe he was trying to do something. Like maybe he goes back in the past and he finds out that it's just not doable, right? He tries to fix things, it gets worse, and he has to let go. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Going through the arcs, we got the new people, whatever. And I was like, okay, we're going in a good direction. Then they started doing the magic shit. And that's when it started really going downhill. The moment they started making the dark impulse shit into like he's not just kind of a like, he got some mental issues where he starts getting murdery sometimes. It started being like, no, he gets possessed. I was like, no, let's stop cooking. Stop doing this.
Put it down.
Then they did the obligatory. This is our Tokyo revenge. I was like, okay, okay. First off, okay, that's funny meme. Like, oh, we're Jujutsu Kaisening right now. I was like, okay, fine. It's kind of funny, but low key, the hit went hard. The dark was good.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well, I was like, okay, because to be fair, I really wanted them to say Tokyo revenge. I just thought that shit went hard. Like Tokyo revenge. I was like, okay, cool. But then the last section, I'm like, okay, you killed a certain fan. Actually, not even. I'll just go spoilers. I mean, if you,
I'm not reading it. I'm about to say I'm not reading it. So
when they killed Draken, right? They had Draken killed. He got shot to death. I'm like, okay, it's a little unceremonious. I don't know how I feel about that, especially since literally just a couple months ago, we were saying like, hey, don't fucking go to the past, leave it alone. So one of our favorite characters got killed. All
Dead.
right, cool. Right, and they're still gonna save Mikey. Cool. They do the big fight, blah 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 blah. Mikey comes in, blah 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 blah. They do the magic shit again. Then the final section goes back to the past. At this point, I was like, "You're just stupid. You want to stop writing, and so you're just like, I'm just gonna put out whatever it takes to get this story done as soon as possible." So now we've explained time travel is like, oh, obligatory. People just have the ability to time travel sometimes, right? Also, you can bestow people with curses because you just can. Okay. Mikey was never a bad person at all. He never had any mental issues. Anything bad that has happened in his story is not his fault. He was cursed. Right? And then Takemichi dies. Okay. Also, he's in the past now. He's a child, like 5. Oh. And also, he's also has known Mikey his entire life. Really? And he says, like, okay, this there's a particular panel, right? So throughout the story, especially in the anime, I'm sure both of you kind of somehow aware, Takemichi has a partner. I forget what his name is, but he has a partner that he works with the whole time. Like there's like
The brother.
that one guy
W
he works with
partner.
the entire story.
W
The
partner.
entire
Best
story,
character.
he's working with one
Oh,
nigga
one
in
of the best
particular.
characters.
Yes, good character. He's walking with him in the past and in the future. This nigga says, Takemichi says, oh, I've been fighting this battle all alone this entire time, but finally I have you to work with me, right? Let's go save everybody. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? He had a partner since season 1.
Not even that. Like
What
at a
the
certain
fuck
point,
are
he
we
had a whole
talking
squad
about?
going
He
on.
has had a
He did have a
partner.
whole
He's been
squad.
working niggas this whole time.
He was leading a whole
Nah.
division.
Before he died working with his whole team, and they all knew he was time traveling. They literally all locked in with him. They were all like, oh, damn, you really been fighting this whole battle with the time travel all alone? We're locking in with you. They literally just said that shit. That's dark. They just said that shit. What the fuck are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, some editor was just like, nah, extend that shit. Because there's no way you can't say that's like actual character assassination. I've heard of, oh, they don't know how to write the character. Like the character wouldn't do this. It's been like, oh, maybe they would in this certain sense. Nah, that was just stupid. You cannot explain to me why he would ever say that shit because it's just straight up not true. Objectively, it's not true at all.
Fair. I
Hell, he fucking worked with
want
his
them red
girlfriend in
jackets.
the story. His girlfriend, who was the initial purpose of him going back in the past in the first place, was helping him in the past. What the fuck are we talking about? That's why I was like, nah, there's no say. Like the whole after Kisaki part was just fucked. Like he had no direction. It's
Fair.
that shit tripped me so
I
bad.
want them red jackets, so I'm not gonna lie. Them red jackets.
The drip was so hard too.
The drip
The
is
drip
hard.
was so
I'm telling you,
hard.
Tokyo Revengers had the second best drip in anime outside of Bleach. You can't lie to me. Bleach will forever have the #1 drip out of
That's fair.
all
Uh,
anime.
They also got
I
good aura. The
I
aura
will
was
die on the
good.
hill. Yes.
Like
I will
when
also
it came down to vibes, Tokyo Revengers just know how to hit.
I will
Right?
also we should do this
Niggas know
for
how to
another
post. They know
podcast
how to
episode.
post up for a fight. They know
True.
how to
We should do
post
this for
up.
a podcast episode. Do the like the tournament styles, like best anime transformation,
Um,
best anime protagonist. We should do that for a podcast episode one day. But I'll
the
say in
best
terms of
and
this,
what
for
show
me,
had it the drippiest?
for me, for me, the most impactful anime transformation, not including Super Saiyan 1. We're not including that. I'm
Yeah,
saying
that's an easy winner.
for
That's
me personally, it's when Ichigo went Vasto Lorde. Every single time someone talks about an anime transformation, that pops into my brain. Because nothing could leave an imprint like that transformation when I watched it live. Oh my goodness. Wait, I thought Ichigo died, and then he was really just angry and was like, I gotta protect this big bitch with titties. And he turned into a whole hollow. What? And then killed the enemy. Bro, that shit was cold. I'm sorry, that shit was cold. And he had a whole mask and horns and shit. That shit was cold.
yeah. It did bang.
That shit was
It
cold.
did bang. It did bang. It did bang.
So cold, I
Best
got it on my wall.
transformation.
But yeah,
I was gonna
anyway.
say best anime transformation. Honestly, my immediate thought is just like still spoilers, but honestly, like it's a spoiler, but honestly, like you'll have no context for it. It doesn't really matter. I'm
Gear
gonna
5
say
Luffy. Oh.
like the one that immediately comes to my brain, but I probably have to like think about like all the animes I've watched, transformations in each show. But like the one that's just popping in my brain is just like the Garo transformation. That shit just the
Gara?
transformation into
That
you
was
know
fire.
the transformation into cosmic fear mode.
Oh,
That shit
you said
came
Garo. I thought you
yeah,
said
Garo.
Gara, like from
Oh no, Garo.
Naruto. I was like, really?
Yeah,
Out of
that
all
shit just went so hard, especially the panel with his face and the guy. I was like, nah, that's peak. That's peak. Now, given that might not be, I don't think that might be my like my objective favorite, but that's just one that just keeps coming into my brain because I'm just like, just the way he looked, it's just too good. He just looks so fucking cool. That's such an original design. I'm not even gonna lie.
True, that too.
Like that's just peak.
That was fire.
That is just so good.
The one that
It was
came
so
to mind
good.
for me, I was trying to think of one, but there. I mean, I don't think this one is like my favorite transformation, but one that like I like when I saw it was it was Aaron from Attack on Titan, but it was in the first season where he's fighting Annie, and he gets like his Titan. He's still like in his Titan form, but it's like more berserk. It's
I know
more
what you're
angrier.
talking about.
When he did
Are
that,
you
I
talking
was
about the
like,
fire one?
yeah,
Where he was like on
that
fire.
one.
Yeah,
Huh?
That one was nice.
that's a good one. That's
Also,
a
the
good one.
season 4 one in the opener when he turns into a Titan in Marley. If you notice, see what I'm talking about.
Oh, what are you talking about? He pops out from under the ground.
Yeah, he's like underground in the basement. He was like, I
Fun fact,
always
I
keep
still
moving
have not.
forward. You haven't finished it
Oh,
yet?
okay, that's fair. I haven't finished the Attack on Titan at all.
Wait, Julian, have you
I
finished it
stopped.
or ever watched it?
No, I actually never really liked Attack on Titan, mostly because it's just overly gory. I'm not a gory guy. Not a huge gore guy.
All right, then
No.
for Miles,
I pretty much like I
I
stay
love-
tapped in, so I know the gist of the story, but I've never like watched each episode. I just kind of know it. I know
Yeah.
more or less what happens. I know the characters.
I love the
When
Attack
you
on
say
Titan,
things,
but
I know.
sadly, my brain was not big enough for it. Like especially at the time I was watching it, I was doing a whole bunch of different stuff. So then, like, I think I stopped when they killed the potato girl, and I was very sad because she was one of my favorite characters.
Sasha.
And then I just didn't get back to it. Like I literally I had too much going on, and then I
Yeah.
still forget
The
sometimes.
That's
the
fair.
ending
Understandable.
was. I didn't fuck with the ending. I did not fuck with the ending.
A
It
lot of
just,
people say
like-
that. I'm about to say a lot of people said that.
That is a non-controversial opinion. It's actually the objective.
Oh yeah,
not
I
objective,
know,
but it's
I
the-
know.
It's the common opinion. Didn't fuck with the ending.
It just
It's kind of interesting. You have
it's
shows like
weird.
Game of Thrones and Attack on Titan that are so big that like people
The
are
ending,
like,
the
oh,
ending
oh,
can't.
the ending, and then the ending is like,
Because the show's so big, it's hard to like end it on a really satisfying note. Because there's expectations, there's hype, and probably like they didn't. I mean, I don't know if he planned out the entire ending, but I don't really like the direction we was going. Only because, I mean, I'm not gonna. Do you guys care about spoilers?
No.
Okay.
I've already know. I mean, I knew what happened
yeah.
because the manga finished before the anime did, and I saw
Yeah.
manga panels when they finished. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's okay.
Like
I don't ever want her to stop loving me. I want her to think about me for
Yeah.
at least 5 years after I'm gone.
Like that part, I was like, what? Like I was already, like I understood what Aaron was doing, but I knew there was like a ulterior like motive that he probably wasn't saying. But then it was like, I don't know. It was just weird because everything he was doing up until that point was completely against what he just said during that part of being like, oh no, I actually loved her. I don't want to see her with anyone else but me. I'm like, you sat down
Well, I watched some
with
videos about
her
it.
and Armin
Go ahead.
and told them to their faces, y'all ain't shit.
Fuck off.
You are a slave and I hate you. And you're a bitch. What do you mean? Like, how do you?
No, he was staying on business at that
No.
time. He was staying on business. He was like, nah,
No, he,
y'all ain't
nah, he,
locked in like me.
he
Like,
was trying to play hard to get. He was like, y'all ain't like me. I'm him.
Like-
Y'all just a bunch of slaves. You a bit. Like I'm him. And then he was
No,
dying.
that's just,
and he was
that's
like,
just Frizz. That's
I
just
was
Frizz.
lying. I was lying. I want you, man. Love me, please. I was lying.
Nah,
I
I mean,
don't know.
I watched some videos about it, and they were talking about basically, like, once I think what they were saying was basically like once he got his Titan powers, he's basically in his future him is manipulating past him to make him do certain events so that then they
Yeah,
reach a certain event, basically.
basically, yeah.
So after a certain point, like he's no longer himself. He's basically portraying a version of himself that will get to the final action. So when he's talking to Armin in that scene, that's him being his true, like what he really wants to be. Like basically he's the ultimate slave. Like he's a
Yeah,
slave
it's him
to
himself.
the goal, effectively. So
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I can't even act like how I really want to act. I can't be with the people I want to be with or respect the people I respect, because doing that will not achieve achieve the freedom for everybody. So I will be the last slave, so then you guys can be free. Blah blah blah. But the problem is that it's just like people like the cold Aaron, the guy who is basically like I'm willing to risk it all. So when he's like, oh, by the way, like actually I just love my friends, guys. I know I've like literally tried to kill you guys like a few times and definitely beat the shit out of Armin right in front of your face and made you cry and think that I hate you. But actually I love you guys a lot. Like you guys mean a lot to me. It's
Toxic.
like, what
Aaron
the
is
fuck is this
toxic.
guy? Like I think that's the
Aaron
part. It's just the issue of like I could see the logic behind it. It's just like the execution it just makes it bad.
I think it
Even if
got
like on a general,
too.
like if you just think about it overall, it's like okay, I can see the vibe.
It got a little too confusing with that part. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't time travel, but it was like some type of time influence where like his because of his Titan powers of like the attack Titan being able to like look into the memories of like previous users, it was like Aaron was like influencing his father to
His
do certain
past.
things so that he could influence his
Mm.
future. It was like a loop. Once it got to that
it was a
part,
loop.
Yeah.
it got like it was getting confusing.
It's
And
a
then
little too
towards the end, it
complicated.
was just
yeah,
Max
Yeah.
confusing.
yeah.
It was very confusing.
It was still cool though. But it
Cool.
was like kill them. It was like damn.
speaking
He's
of
wild for that. He
confusing
told-
though. I was about to
is
say before
confusing,
we went on this like whole tangent, like talking about like if the Culling games were better than Shibuya.
Oh, yeah.
I like Shibuya a little. I like Shibuya a little more because like the Culling games has like a really interesting concept, and it was fun to see like the new characters like interact with the now traumatized cast and do some fights. Shibuya just felt more like streamlined. Like it was just
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
hands. It was, and I appreciated that. Like there was still like the parts where like he was explaining the attacks and stuff. But there's a certain point during the Culling games where it was getting complicated because of the rules of it, and them trying to like get points to change rules, and then I forgot his name, the brain guy, him like Kenjaku
Kenjaku.
like also trying to influence the game against their rules, but then also like having like a different game plan. It like that part was getting confusing, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed
Yeah.
like Shibuya. It was also because of the anime too. Maybe I'll like my opinion will change once the anime part of like the Culling games comes out. But as of right now,
They'll probably end up streamlining
I
it a little bit
enjoyed
more.
Shibuya more.
I'm about to say. I was gonna say I like the Culling games more. I don't like the after more. I like Shibuya more than the after of the Culling game. But I like the Culling games more than Shibuya in terms of the manga. Because I remember reading straight from Shibuya into the Culling games, and then I caught up when they done the three domain expansions with Yuta. That was like when I caught up.
My goat, he's just so peak. Anyway,
So then
that's it.
when I read that, I was like, Culling games is cooking. Because what is gonna happen? I don't know. Who knows, right? But the anime made me love Shibuya a whole lot more. I'm not gonna lie. They cooked with that with the anime. So I was gonna say I like the Culling games more.
I will say, well, for me, I would say I like. Well, okay, I need to do a reread. I feel like I gotta do a full reread of the Culling games to get like a full opinion, because I feel like I forgot how long I actually. You know what? I think I read chapter by chapter for all the Culling games. Now I think about it.
Crazy work.
Damn.
Yeah, I've been reading. I'm an expert in the field, doing the chapter reviews and stuff. I've been doing this shit for a while. So that being said, like my viewpoint of it is like I can think of like pretty much, but for the most part, I can think of all the things that happen. But because I have it on like a chapter by chapter, it's not the proper experience. So I don't really get the feeling of like, okay, what does it feel like when you're just like, I just read a chapter, that shit was cool. What's happening next? You know, that type of shit. But I would say playing games definitely gets a worse rap than it really is. Like I feel like it is good, but I feel like
It's
part of the
definitely
reason why
good.
calling games feels worse, or at least feels a lot over bloated, a lot more bloated than Shibuya, is because Shibuya was built up to in the previous arcs. Like
That is true.
every single arc right after, let's say, the first room part is pretty much building up into like, okay, we're gonna try to steal Gojo. So everything that's happening in the background, all the
That's true.
improvements they're making, it's all building up to Shibuya, where everything kind of gets this huge payoff. Like Yuji killing the cursed wombs, Yuji versus Choso, Sukuna existing, Sukuna and Jogo, Sukuna and Maharaga. Literally Maharaga, payoff first Megami, etc.,
Also,
etc., etc. So much
Toji
stuff.
bro, them
versus
memes, Toji,
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
That was cooking. But what the memes when they were like, yo, imagine being like one of the first users of the 10 Shadows technique, and you like, oh, it's a frog, got a few bunnies, got some dope wolves,
Elephant.
Mm.
and then
Like
Maharaga.
divine general
Maharaga. I got an elephant. It's tough. You know, that's cool. Oh, a snake, a big ass snake. Wow, a weird owl. That's kind of weird. Number 10. I
a
wonder what
deer.
number 10 could be. Maybe a
That's
lion, maybe a
python.
bear. Maharaga.
It was like, what animal was it? Oh, Raga. Must be like, I don't know, a ape or something. Divine general.
You
Big.
summon,
Oh my god.
you're like ring and swing, ding, ding, ring a ding, ring. Eight grips, horror, say, whatever it's called. Maharaga. You're like, why is he covered in? Is he a mummy? What is going on? You're dead.
So he smiles at you and then proceeds to behead you. It's like,
Exactly. He's like, nah,
gotcha.
you a bitch. That's what he did to Megami. Bro, he literally got summoned and he was like, you gonna summon me for this loser? Fuck out of here. And Megami was like, oh, I guess I'm dead.
I guess that's it.
I
Story's
guess
over.
I'm dead. But anyway, this has been what's the time? We are at
9:30.
I
So
think
we
that's
got a good
an
hour and
hour
a
and a
half.
half. I guess it's
Yep.
good. I'm
Yeah.
good podcast.
Chris was on point. He said an hour and a half. He did an hour and a half. For sure.
Uh, anyway,
Like.
join us next month for another episode of the Campfire Podcast. It might be anime, it might be games, it might be politics, it might be funny shit, it could be relationships, it could be breakups, it could be whatever. Who knows? Could
Could
be
be another
murder.
interview. Could
Could it
be
be
just
another
another
interview?
person telling us about their life story.
Okay. We might be in person.
Indeed.
Maybe.
Oh, who knows? But make sure you tune in to check out the next episode. This has been Myles.
Julian.
Chris. I don't know. I
Now
didn't.
you waiting that long.
Hey, he had to leave the dramatic. You feel me?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hope y'all
that's
enjoyed.
been your host. Yep. Happy Juneteenth. And yeah,
All right.
we'll
Catch
see
you
y'all
on the
next
next
time.
one.
Peace.
See y'all.
Goodbye.